I'm not convinced on it. Depends on what it is. There you go. I'm just going to turn it off. We'll hit it another time. Yeah, I know. I just want to rip through though today. I always get the copyright complaint too on them. One moment. All right, I'm getting it together. A long week, folks. A really long week. Let's get it going. And I'll even change up. Let's change the screen and just, that's how I know. Thanks, everybody. Again, we start every Friday afternoon, a little bit after 1 o'clock. I'll hit the streaming button and then roll for 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes to get it together. Super casual here, and I'll take quotes, take questions. You got it. Any problems with the sound or anything, let me know how it's going. And we're going to just kind of keep it going like that for this afternoon. Why today's so important is obviously the crypto situation of what has happened in the last week. And it has been just a phenomenal few weeks since we got that trigger on Bitcoin. And since getting that, it's been quite a move. And a lot of the Bitcoin and a lot of the other signals that we saw have yielded really strong reactions coming right out of the gate. So this is what we need to look at. This early character has a lot, says a lot about what we could expect beyond just this initial reaction. So let's just kind of go back a week, right? Going back a week, and remarkably, we weren't even 43,000. 42,000, excuse me. And we had outlined basically that on the daily, weekly of total market cap and Bitcoin, we were dealing with a sharp reaction that would get us to at least a 50% retracement, if not as much as a 618. So this is total crypto market cap. And if we go high to low here on the total market this is the total market capitalization chart. It's the index chart for crypto. I think this is probably the place to start, even better than Bitcoin. What we have is that secondary thrust that took out the prior low, the initial low. Okay, come back for the retest. I'm good for that. And now what does that set up is this larger 1618, 886 formation for another, we go shark to shark. Okay, and so this is the play. This is really, for everyone that's been following me all this time, and even in the last month, what's transpired and the triggers that we've seen has given us absolutely the clues and the indication of where this is going. I think we can classify clearly now what the correction from May to July was all about. and it's just a correction in total market cap. All right, we came down, did a sizable 50+% correction in your total market cap. And now, after that stabilization consolidation, we've taken shape of a shark formation that will get us back up to at least assume we retest the all-time highs. These are minimum constraints. And that's something to think about. If we can have with a high degree of confidence that we're going to go retest those all-time highs, then that gives us a really good, clear indication of strategizing pullbacks, intraday pullbacks, what have you, even consolidation pauses on our way up to at least 2.4, 2.5 trillion on the total market cap. That would complete the shark pattern. It's pretty clear that from how we've come off these recent lows over the past 2 months, with the explosion this month, and it really is a reactive move. And we said that, go back a couple of weeks ago when we triggered this, we said this would be reactive with a strong thrust, and it's given us that character, and that's a very good sign. We're hitting an HSI recheck, check back right now from yesterday. This is on the daily chart, around 1.92 trillion, essentially before we try to attack 2 trillion. We should see maybe a little bit of a pause here like we did back on the last one. Now, coming off of that low from the very beginning, we were targeting a 50% pullback, which was about 1.89 trillion, as high as a 618 retracement. So around 2.05. And we want to look in this zone, essentially 1.9 to 205. Let's see what kind of pause consolidation we get in here before we make the bigger run for the 886. So maybe over the next day or two, we start to hit some resistance finally after straight up run. 3 weeks. And some of the altcoins have been exploding. The S coins definitely. Cardano, amazing. Ethereum, just all really remarkable stuff. The good thing though is that there's not a heck of a lot here at the 50 or 618 level in terms of bearish formation other than that retracement. If we assume that this is a 5-0 coming off the low, it's real ugly. And so I think maybe just a pause here. I think we need to be planning more for this shark objective. Come back, retest all-time high, if not breakout. I don't want to go beyond the breakout scenario yet. This might have just kind of picked up where it needed to leave off and start doing the things that it will really need to do to get upwards to some of the levels I was alluding to earlier in the year. The way this was setting up is that the market cap had a potential of really busting up to about 4.5 trillion, in my opinion. So on some measurements and some things based on the last cycle. Now with this pullback, I don't want to go too far into it other than just say that a longer term scenario would be some kind of all-time ABCD. And we mentioned this last week of saying, okay, what if you would see some kind of big move? Well, all right, somewhere around minimum ABCD off that low, you get to 3.5 trillion. Just putting out a couple levels to consider that could shape up if this thing really accelerates. The way that has been effective in recent sessions the last few days is to break this on a 5-minute, looking for patterns on pullback patterns on a 5-minute. So we go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we're hitting a daily HSI. And recall for Bitcoin, the 40, we were saying 47,000. I mentioned this in the gold members session yesterday that really I've been saying it's just a shy under 47,000 because of where the reciprocal ABCD is. So that's the shark that set this whole thing up. And that shark comes up to a 5-0. And we're there, okay, where you are. The exact 5-0 level is, I have to fix that because I don't have the magnet on it. I know it's like 46.9. Do one of you guys have that? The exact level? I think it's like 46,895, or, and again, depends on your feed, the data feed. So no surprise though, we're here at this level, and look at what the daily bars are doing on Bitcoin. That's significant action. You're at, a 5-0 level, and I'm respecting that. We got very close to that exact 50% level. The other part of this 5-0 structure that I mentioned last week was the reciprocal ABCD. That's this, in the 5-0 pattern, we utilize that shark. Now, yeah, absolutely, we use 618 as a complementary measure with the 5-0 level, the 50% level, but we utilize this segment, this little, that's the BC, that's the reciprocal ABCD leg. So utilize that leg. We project it off the low point. That is our ABCD component in the 5-0. And we combine that with where the 50% level is. So the 50% level is above this reciprocal ABCD. And typically, that's going to mean we favor looking at the 50% level. If this was something that was larger, let's say the reciprocal estimate was projected maybe above there, then we would favor and almost expect this to go more to the 618, which is like 618 is like right there. 51,200. And I did mention this a few weeks ago, that no matter what happens here, it's the action that's at or right at the 50 level because of that low reciprocal ABCD. And we're pausing. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that phenomenon, and it's something to note because we are pausing just shy. I mean, we almost hit that exactly, that 50 level exactly. The reciprocal ABCD on this estimate is about 44,000. And so what could happen? Maybe a little pullback. Again, today's the day. I mean, today we're checking back and retesting that level, and that is against the prior high from yesterday. So tonight's close, it just really important for whether or not this thing is going to just blast on, or you're going to go through a little consolidation now before you do the next leg. I personally think if this was going to really blast, we would have blasted through now. So I'll watch for the close, and again, a close underneath yesterday's high is significant. That's around 46,400. Let's see. Again, I'm not too concerned, other than just wanting to know what the character of this big assault will be. Is it going to just rocket from here, or are we going to get some pullback, retracement, and then go? Just a lot of very interesting harmonic dynamics coming together that anything above this level, anything above the 50 level, you certainly start to run for the 618 retracement. But I would say that if you crack above 47,000 aggressively, you start to fail the 5-0 pattern already. So again, I'm going to respect this, and maybe we look for this to pause a little bit, go to say a 1 hour time frame. Anything up here? No, other than an HSI, but you know, I keep an eye on it. There aren't signs, you know, there aren't huge signs. And if you take a look at what happened with this, remember the Gartley? Remember that Gartley? Let me remove the dot here. Oh, that's better. One moment. Okay, thanks. That's better. So last week we were dealing with this Gartley, pretty assured that that was going to break out, and it did. It failed it. And notice how even on the 4 hour, this is the first HSI we've seen since that failure. This is all has, you know, really remarkable strength in light of the fact that you're coming off these prior lows. You fail a bearish pattern, because if this was going to be a downtrend continuation, that pattern would have triggered it. So all signs that really support the longer term time frame, with the objective of going back to retest the all-time high. This is Bitcoin now. Give us another shark, much like the total market cap index. We simply want to look for this kind of to get sharky here and just come up and give us something like this and go up to say 886 at around 61 thou. Yeah, let's call it 61 thou. You know, we have some consolidation in between there, but above 47,000, that's absolutely what is the only possibility. Can we go to the 707? No. Again, this is a real finite possibility within the framework. And go back and look at some of the other sessions from weeks and months ago, where we were looking at 30,000, 31,000. I was saying, look, it's only 31,000. There's really not much beyond that. And in the same way, there's nothing really beyond 47,000 because of the 5-0. The RSI, there's a comment here that the RSI is looking to set up a complex formation. I agree with that. So, but we have RSI and we have amplified. So, and I like amplified. That's our top indicator. This is amplified RSI. And we're working with Harmonic Pattern Collection for TradingView, by the way. And this is now set up where you are in the overbought. But here is the one thing about Bitcoin that why it's so significant is we've turned back up into the overbought extreme from here. And that a lot of times can lead to a more aggressive breakout if it stays up there. Now, We have HSI that's turned down. So again, this hasn't reversed out of the extreme yet. It still needs time. I would look for it too. But I'll tell you what, by tonight, if this blasts on through, we're 46,500. Let's say we rally and just blast through 47,000. Then I would look for that larger continuation now. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great comment, and absolutely, and thank you for that comment, and greetings, Korea. He was saying that it's a classic shark, and that's what it is. The shark is in development here, and we're halfway there. We break out of the B point there on the shark. That sets us up. Now, do we go straight up? No. Do we grind up? Probably. That's better. And, you know, this could be just a pause before we come up and do the next leg higher. Again, there's no possibility beyond this. It's either the 5-0, maybe the 618. But again, because of the type of 5-0 that we're dealing with here, this area, what we're looking at right now, is going to dictate whether or not we get an aggressive move straight to the 886 or not. And you can go, I mean, if we break out above with a fat candle, nice close above 47, whatever, in through the weekend, this will run. If not, you know, worst case scenario, you have a little pullback from 47 and then you run. But this thing wants to run. It really wants to run because you go on, say, the weekly time frame. Again, worst case scenario being the fact that, let's say it's a shark on a weekly, which it is, and we're going to come up and retest amplified one more time. I mean, the fact that this red line is on amplified RSI means that this indicator still has to come all the way up on the weekly, enter the zone, and then get rejected off the zone and start to turn down. You are probably 3-4 weeks away from that happening. In that time, there's a whole lot of space between here and that 886. And that 886, these are minimum framework levels. And that's at 61,000. Ethereum's even better. Even stronger. Look at that. Here's Ethereum. All you need to know is a close above 3,200 for the week. And there's nothing, in my opinion, it's already gone. Again, we're just assuming and looking at that as a 5-0 creature. It's better on the daily. But here's your daily. Okay, you hit your 50 level last week. And that was at 30.50. Yeah. And your 618 target is 3,400. Yeah, 30 right there, 3,400, just shy of it. 33.80. You're 32.30 right now. It's going to easily get there. You take out 3,400. And you take out 3,400, then you're going to know how fast, how quickly this thing just accelerates to the 886. You're on a 1-bar acceleration, folks. Week over week. Your prior low is your support. You are forming new, really just new high target here each week of taking out higher highs. Incredibly strong. That can go on for 7, 8, 10 weeks. I would say more like 7 or 8. And do it in a linear fashion where you just challenge the all-time high. Again, I'm with Ethereum leading the way, already asserting itself above those numbers, you really just want to look for this 886 as your minimum. 4100. Yeah, 4100. And of course, I'm not saying anything about a breakout, which takes us back to our other numbers that we started with way back when, which was, remember the bat pattern? That's an auto-generated pattern with the software, folks. And again, true harmonic level there. True harmonic bat pattern that we can measure everything from. And for Ethereum, well, we're back up here on the 2618, which was about 3,500, 3,600. And the 314 on Ethereum is still, yeah, 4,300 on Ethereum. And I think of it reaction reversal dynamics. If that 314, which it did in the last test, look, that was the 314, the pie projection off of the bat pattern that got all of this started. And that's what that is. And I don't want to talk about like the fact that it's not, that's the auto-generated bat pattern, perfectly put together, calculated by the software. And the metrics that we use off of that zone and that range are extremely valid as targets for what we're looking at now. All of that and the way this has come off of the level still points to even a retest of that all-time high at around 4,400. Again, you're looking at a lot of dynamics, framework dynamics of harmonic patterns and measurements, how you have reaction reversal. And let's assume that that's what this is. Let's assume off of the bat pattern, this was a 314 reaction. That's it. There's a lot of things you could attribute that to, but that really was a 314 parabolic reaction. Typically, though, parabolic reactions will not come back for a retest. So that's why I want to be really careful with what happens up here. I'm utilizing that metric and just saying, okay, we're going to shoot the gap between 32 and 44 and still say this run is happening until these minimum retests occur. The shark completion gives me, all the evidence I need to say still ride the train up until we hit that full retest. And if we blast on through, well, then this thing is just gone. I mean, gone. Gone in a way where, just like the Bitcoin ABCD, Ethereum could be doing the same thing and just do an approximate ABCD off the range for this year, or even go back to last year, 2020, and you ballpark that A to B to C to D puts you up at 6,000. You're talking a double, close to a double from here. So a lot of measurements, a lot of reasons to continue with this. Here is Cardano. Look at that candle. That's amazing. Now, thing about this candle I want everyone to be aware of is we can trace out a Gartley on this thing. Let's go to the daily. That's why this next couple of days, these next few days, are extremely important. Now, here's that Gartley formation. There's your X to A to B. Almost perfect 618, folks. That's how you know it's a Gartley. B point, perfect 618. Now we just go to the 786 for your D point. about 218. Also, you have a little ABCD here. Not the prettiest, but you do. And that's 786 at 220. Let's see what happens there. Notice how a lot of these huge trade opportunities are coming off of the larger time frames and getting rejected, you know, one way or another, where you might not see it. There might not be a development on a 5 or a 30, but the daily or weekly levels are acting as firm support resistance. That's the play here for Cardano. And again, we could be here in a week from now where it goes up, it hits that, and then we go into a type 1 reaction. Beyond this, our ideal framework would say type 1 reaction goes down to a 382, and then we blast. Something like that. Come back for a retest, hop, what have you. The thing that I will note is that the character of this rise is extremely strong. Not too many bearish candles, and we are about to enter the zone with a lot of force. So we want to absolutely just watch this, how the follow through occurs going into the next 24, 48 hours. And of course, the weekly close Sunday, look, it's just this too, Cardano too, on a larger perspective, you want to be aware of the fact that this could be doing something like this, a big all-time ABCD, like go off the low from last year, come down, bang, and now we're going to blast. Got to fix the chart. Notice how it was at a 618, almost perfect at the retracement. And we go up to, say, a 1618, and we did this on Bitcoin as well in the gold member sessions, where you get to 340, 350. TLM, sure. I don't know what that is, but TLM USD. Oh, I don't have Binance. This is pretty new, fairly new. 4-hour chart. Again, 28 cents. That's pretty nice. I mean, just without any patterns on it, that's a pretty nice accumulation right there after the correction down. I think something like that's probably just a matter of time. I don't have any, not on the 4-hour chart, but say you go to 30-minute time frame, maybe you have something. It's been fairly flat for a while. There you go. There's a 30-minute chart. TLM USD, folks. 30-minute chart coming off of a few patterns, all at 26, 27 cents. It's a type 1. So reaction done. Like this. HSI arrows come in at target 1s. So how about the retest? Bring it on down. And maybe that retest, and you get that secondary retest, because look, you have this prior deep crab that still has a hop level all the way up at around 34 cents. So I would frame it out like this. Look, you can get a retest. If you get a retest on this one, 26, 27 cents, 34 would be the number. That's a heck of a move percentage-wise. You're talking 30, 25, 30%. Look for that retest, though. That's an ideal type 2. You got it. I'll go through a couple more. How about the graph? Been a really good one for us. And check this out. There's a 30-minute shark right now on the graph, but let's dial it back out because there was a bunch of these that we've outlined in past sessions that look at what they're doing now. Big Gartley bat formations, now all coming off their lows. The graph almost at $1. There you go. Here's the Coinbase feed. I think I was discussing this of just the last session or 2 sessions ago of just even noting how for Coinbase, on the Coinbase feed, you have the entire formation is like a perfect Gartley at an 886. That's just from the day it comes out of from Coinbase, and the other ones have similar formations. I talked about graph, and this thing goes as high, I think it's 120. We talked about this just being, treat that like a type 1 reaction. Your 382 is at about 155, folks, 150. And your 618 is all the way about $2. So, hey, shout out to Mitch Ray and Mitch Ray's crew, the Mitch Ray Harmonic House crew. You guys, how are you guys doing? Hey, Mitch, they just announced the dates for the Bitcoin conference. It's in April. It's back here in Miami, of course. And by then, we are going to have craps tables at the casinos. So I will probably be having a craps event. Matic, sure, Moral, absolutely. Matic was another one I mentioned. Look at my Twitter feed from a week ago. Ever since that, it's almost a double. I like 85 cents or 90 cents. I posted that. Matic's $1.45. Again, everything you want to assume right now, folks, with these are we getting to a 50% retracement? Or are we going to go to the 886? Come on. Here's Matic. We know it's got a whole bunch of stuff. What's going on there? 50% retracement off that high to low is, puts you basically at $1.80, $2. It's like this. You look at your 50, 170 is the 50% retracement, 886, all the way up around 250 on Matic. And this does not account for the fact that if we're in a second wave here, Bitcoin goes to all-time new highs. Ethereum makes a move and takes out Bitcoin. How about that one? How about not only does Bitcoin go to all-time new highs, but Ethereum now makes the move and eclipses Bitcoin's market cap, which they both end up being a couple $trillion because we get a FOMO because everybody that sat out the summer is jumping back in now runs it. And what do you think happens when this stuff breaks out to new all-time highs? People are going to lose their nuts. They're going to absolutely go crazy because they missed it. And that's what this early action says to me, folks. It looked ugly, and the thing just got, all of the sellers got sucked up on Bitcoin at 30,000. And this kind of responsive wake up like eruption that you're seeing in these altcoins means it's incredibly early. And check my Twitter feed. I've been talking about this, and I will continue to outline the real definitive traits that are showing themselves as such. This thing is just waking up. Here's another one that I expect to be at all-time new highs, Solana, or at least challenge them. And here's another one with Solana. I think I mentioned this last week of just looking for your M and Ws. Now, I'm working on harmonic pattern collection, but still, with utilizing the simple manual XABCD tool, it's great sometimes just to sketch out manually where the M's and W's go. Because the M and W's give you a ballpark of framework minimums. Something like Solana here has been acting really strong, clearly in a Gartley. We haven't broken above the B point, but this is so strong, and the way it's acting day over day is that, you know, target 52 for pattern completion wouldn't be a surprise. You're trading 43 right now. If I had a stock that was at 43 and, you know, it was already up from 22 in a month, and I was thinking it could get to 52, I would say that's an amazing stock. So just be aware of that. It's showing a lot of strong traits within a pattern framework that has a lot of CD legs. And I'll go and target these CD completions as a minimum to kind of support the bias to look for this to continue. And then if it breaks out, we know what to expect. I mean, that would be the Super Bowl scenario. You get up to those bearish patterns and you annihilate them. Not there yet, though. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Risky. I hope I pronounce that. Yeah, Polkadot's the same thing, but I think Solana is stronger. Here's Dot. Yeah, here's Dot. That has more to go. And that's also something to think about. Some of these that haven't hit them yet. This is one of them. I think Polkadot, I definitely outlined this 2 weeks ago of this being a shark. And I think this was the one where I said utilize the data for 2021. So for this year, that gives you your shark parameters, which goes to, again, a 5.0. This case, you come down here. And so Solana's 50% minimum is $32, $31. 618 on Solana is up at 35. So check that out. We did Ethereum, Ebenezer. Check it out earlier. And basically the 886. Some of these are further along than others, but at this point, and I started today by going through essentially looking at total market cap, and we want to analyze the daily, weekly ranges, looking for these to go to a 50, 618 level, but understand that the 886 is in play. I mean, even here with Polkadot, let me just kind of move this out of the way, and let's just trace out the potential shark that's happening here, because this has the same dynamics as a lot of these pairs that went nominally below the crash low in May, and now you have a sharp reactive rally, really indicative of a shark formation. I mean, this has got the beginnings of a shark all over it. Bang, you pop up and you go to 886 minimum. You do a 1618 BC. Again, you can see this early on. You can see that early in the construction. So just be aware of that. All right, couple more. LCX. What's LCX? LCX USD. Yes, some of those. I'm going to avoid those. I'm going to avoid these. Sorry, I want to stick with bigger ones. All right, I don't know what pond is, but I'll look at it because I also want to find new coins for sure. If you guys have some ones that I should be looking at, That's a pretty good one. But I want them to have at least be able to be trading on a couple of exchanges and have a dollar pair for liquidity purposes. Why? Because I think there's too many great opportunities out there that you don't need to go into an illiquid market. Maybe some of those might have 100x gains. I don't know. But again, I just think there's so many more of the larger opportunities with great liquidity that will avoid a black swan risk of something happening and then you can't get out. I have that problem. I have that problem on even some of the smaller altcoins where I can buy a big position, but hey, when it's time to get out, or if I have to get out of something, it's going to be really difficult for me in some instances to get out of positions. That's why I'm limiting or maybe spreading out my positions over many coins. Yeah, a couple more. We just did Graph, and Graph is working out great, and it's going to still go higher. I'll look at OXT. It's right here. Yeah, that one. That one, again, OXT here is just like all of these that recall from our session from a week ago or even the last several weeks. What happened with crypto? Everything that is really super strong did a 618 retracement. The altcoins, S coins, all did 886 bat resets, which is great. Not a problem. I mean, I'm happy to see a pattern like that. That's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. Why? It tells me that this whole consolidation range of the last year or so ended up wiggling its way up and down to form a really nice bullish cycle pattern. That's how to think about that. That's like a stamp. That's a stamp on the daily chart that this is major support, 27, 28 cents. That the whole range of the patterns at stake of we would look for this to go to a 382 minimum. Something like 382 off of that low is 50 cents, 51 cents. But, really your 618 reactive bounce is 70. I'm not saying jump right on it. And here's something to think about, that for these plays that start to really move, how can you get on them? Like that one's already, it's off its 20-cent low support zone, now 40 cents. We'll wait for 5-minute patterns like this. All right, right now we're at a bearish pattern. Chances are, here's a setup for OXT. Let's look for that to come back to 36, 35, and then go. I'm not saying it's going to happen every time, but that's how we should try to anticipate them for those that have already moved. You're looking for intraday, 2-3 day pullbacks, and then launch off the type 2 retest. That type 1, type 2 framework is so critical. Again, if you're not aware of it, please, we've got videos, everything on the website. This is the stuff that makes the difference, folks. To understand the reaction reversal dynamics is changing the game. And with crypto, we're seeing it. And the thing that we see with the crypto is that the type 2 retests are giving us larger moves to target 2s a lot. I mean, it's just been really nice, sizable moves. Couple more. Hey, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate that. You guys appreciate it all. Ren, that's funny. I was just looking at Ren. Ren USD. Right here. A thing's starting to come off. Has not moved as much. Go to the daily for this. Right, you're at a crab. First of all, before I go further, 5-minute crab pattern. Okay. Let's say I was really hungry for Ren. This is Ren USD. But wait, there's a bearish pattern. What do? I thought it was bullish. Well, the way these should be playing out is the bearish pattern should give you just a reaction. And we're working with Harmonic pattern collection for TradingView, folks. So that's automatically generated. I automatically respect that level. And I'll look for this reaction to come down to target 1. That's a type 1 move. And then we do the fat return where if it's really going to launch, it'll launch off of this retest, go back to the hop. Now let's look at the daily because this is really the time frame does matter. Remember, this is one of those S coins that did the full 886. I really think it's helps to look at the action of going off of just from this year as well. I normally I wouldn't, I'm not just saying that to kind of like fudge the numbers, but we do see a lot of, there's just most of the pairs, I'll say, have some dynamics that are forming patterns exactly off of their data from 2021. I don't know why, but I'm recognizing that fact. So definitely looking at Ren here, it's 886 is around 45. You stay above 45. Now your trigger came in down here on the lows at around 28 cents. So you're almost double off the low. But again, with all of these, and you can go through, you guys are throwing a lot of different coins at me. Just look at your ranges from the last couple of months, because if we're across the board in a new uptrend, reactive uptrend, if I want to call it like that, all of them should do 382 reactions. And if you're not there yet, then look for little entries on a 5-minute so that you can play it up into that reaction. Ren goes to 90. Still a double. All right, I'll look, I don't know Hbar, but I'll look at Hbar. I've heard that many times. So that's Binance. Yeah, Hbar. Okay, here's one that did the correction, did a 618. There's your 618. All-time 618 is right there. Okay, 1 second. I might have lost you. I'm back. I don't know what happened. The connection flashed out. And this is one that went to the 618. So if it's holding up at a 618 level, I'm going to come off. I'm certainly going to look for minimum 382, which is 30. But I, again, look for full 886. Basically going to retest the all-time high. If we're going to do a massive second wave for 2021, folks, the weakest of coins will do an 886. The strongest will do all-time ABCDs. That's how to think about it. One or two more. Here's one that I'm still in. I don't know what it's going to do. It's got to do something really soon. This has been more speculative. This is that internet computer. Another one that got crashed, 98%. I've been trading this around a little bit while maintaining kind of a core position, since I got a great entry on this around 40 bucks. But this should be a lot higher. And so keep an eye on this thing. This should definitely be accelerating now and through the weekend. Target on internet computer, I think it was $1.25. We did that this week. Yeah, I think we're going off of, yeah, this. Go off of that high from June. There's your first low, second low. Okay, here takes it out nominally. That sets up this a minimum 1618 impulse, which is at 80 bucks. But if we really blast off, which we should, the 886 is at 125. That's how I get that number. But I expect strong price action. We had it, but we had no follow through. So I don't want to screw around on this one because there's so many other opportunities that if Internet Computer's not going to follow through and blow through in the next few days, I'll probably pull it. I really think, folks, just a couple of thoughts. I'm going to leave you with this. Ethereum, Cardano, Bitcoin, and then some of those lesser altcoins, you know, Binance Coin. This stuff, it's like, for me, being a little bit older than the rest of you folks and having traded that .com, you know, trading that .com market in the second half of the 90s was really my first taste of like full-on euphoria. And at that time, there were dozens of garbage little tech stocks that people traded versus the obvious Microsoft, Dell, Intel, things like that. And a lot of those smaller speculative plays, yeah, they had their runs and some did really well, but most of them weren't sustained. And that's kind of the takeaway here. It just think about where we are. And if we get this next wave, you don't want to miss this second wave. And one thing that can happen, and one thing for me that I learned in that tech bubble, was simply that I was sitting in a lot of garbage .com stocks that probably too many, that had I just stayed with the larger players would have done better. And I see a lot of parallels here with the crypto. I'm willing to take shots and speculate because that's what we're doing. But let's be mindful of the real leaders on a market cap basis and just the strongest movers. So think about that. Again, it's a really exciting time. I'm really glad to see crypto come back and at least give us this action, because if it didn't and crypto was just basically going to roll over, that would have not been good for the markets. So, the markets are at a point where we're sitting up there all-time new highs, and I'm going to talk about them next week, about how far this could really go. I mean, how far are the markets going to go? I just want really save today for crypto because it's been so good. But for the larger markets, if we're not going to reverse, if we're not going to correct at these levels, and we are at all of the measured possibilities we can be, okay, then what does that mean? It means much larger levels on a much larger time frame, possibilities, where there's historic precedent. And that's what I'll look at next week, and I'll outline some of the last times where, what do you do once you exceed all-time levels? So I'll go through that. And what I want to leave everybody with today is just how to get with Harmonic Pattern Collection and go to Harmonic Trader and become a basic member. Sign up and register and access that. And all you need to do is send us your username to get access to the TradingView platform. So we're giving access to everybody that wants it now. I think we figured out how to make it a little easier to do trial activations. And so do check that out, please, and get the information on the basic members page, because the other video I'll be uploading this weekend will be a detailed presentation on our scanners. And I tried to do it last week, but the operational performance was slow. But I spent a lot more time kind of refining how to explain it, how to look at it. And I really think I've kind of been able to come up with a way for people to run through all of these markets and find the patterns and how to read all of our screener readout, our data, so that you can go pinpoint and know exactly where the patterns are, where are the opportunities. So look for that later this weekend, and next week we'll probably do some more on that, more on the screener, because next week we'll talk about NASDAQ, S&P, where we're going, and the other thing is I'll be talking about alerts that we can now set up off the scanner. I started mentioning that a week or so ago. Again, we really kind of improved how to deliver that. So do try the basic membership. And this is going to be my last note to everybody is if you're new to the information and you're new to really everything that we're doing here, please go to harmonictrader.com and sign up for the basic membership. There's tons of material there, and I encourage everyone, even if you're considering to subscribe like right away, your first stop is just to simply sign up for the basic membership and go through all of that material, because that gets you started on the right foot. And then all the information of how to get the free trials to multiple platforms and for TradingView is all available there. And you set up and you get set up for free, and you take a couple of weeks, because then when you're ready to subscribe, you know exactly what you're getting. So check all of that out. If you have any questions, you can send them to me at harmonictrader@gmail.com. It's the best place to catch me. Otherwise, come on back next Friday and get with the software, and then we will see you then. So have a great one, great weekend. Go crypto and go get them.